Welcome to my channel. The Success Mindset Focus is a mental discipline that channels thought into purpose. It is not merely about paying attention. It is about directing your mental energy with intention, with clarity, and with unshakable determination. The average mind is like a scattered beam of light, diffused, unfocused, and easily distracted. But when that same beam is concentrated, it becomes a laser, capable of cutting through steel. Such is the power of focus when applied to the human mind. It is the act of disciplining your thoughts to serve a single, definite end, and in doing so, it becomes the starting point of all progress. Most people fail not because they lack intelligence or ambition, but because they allow their minds to wander without direction. They drift from one idea to another, from one goal to the next, never committing themselves fully to any one course. They confuse activity with productivity and motion with progress, but motion without direction is chaos. And chaos cannot yield success. To focus is to bring order to that chaos, to say no to what doesn't matter so you can say yes to what does. The disciplined mind is not easily swayed by distraction. It is not enticed by the temporary satisfaction of social validation or the lure of instant gratification. Instead, it is trained to filter out the noise and to hone in on that one thing that truly matters. It understands that the power of thought, when scattered, has little value, but when aligned with purpose, it becomes the most powerful tool a human being can wield. Every great achievement in history began with a focused mind that chose a single path and walked it with conviction. True focus requires that you first become clear about what you want. Clarity is the foundation of focus. You cannot focus on what you do not understand. You must know your purpose, define your goals, and commit them to paper. A vague desire leads to vague effort, but when you write down a specific goal and you commit to seeing it through, you activate a powerful mechanism in your mind. You begin to see opportunities where once there were none. Your subconscious begins to align your thoughts, behaviors, and habits with your objective. Focus is not something you practice once and forget. It is a discipline you return to daily, in every choice you make, in every distraction you ignore, and in every moment of temptation that you overcome. There will be times when your focus is tested, when life throws distractions in your path, when failure knocks at your door, or when progress seems invisible. It is in these moments that mental discipline is truly forged. Focus does not mean you never feel doubt or fear. It means you do not surrender to them. It means you acknowledge their presence, but choose to act in spite of them. The focused individual is not immune to the world's noise, but he is indifferent to it. He has trained his mind to return again and again to the goal that matters most. The difference between those who succeed and those who merely wish is not talent. It is focus. It is the ability to take a single idea and hold it in the mind with such clarity and intensity that it begins to pull you forward. When you learn to focus, you master the art of ignoring what doesn't serve you. You no longer waste your energy on opinions, obstacles, or outcomes beyond your control. Your energy becomes sacred, and you reserve it only for the work that brings you closer to your purpose. To cultivate focus is to cultivate power. And power, when aligned with purpose, changes everything. Focus allows you to accomplish in 1 year what others might not in 10. It sharpens your vision, accelerates your progress, and transforms the way you think, act, and live. But make no mistake, focus is not inherited. It is earned. It is built slowly, deliberately, through daily practice and unrelenting commitment. The person who develops focus develops mastery. And mastery over the mind is the first step toward mastery over life. Action is the bridge between ideas and reality. Without it, nothing happens. You can dream all you want, think endlessly, visualize success, and write detailed plans, but until you move, until you take that first bold step, your dreams remain confined to the realm of imagination. Ideas, no matter how brilliant, are powerless without execution. They are potential energy waiting to be transformed into real-world outcomes. Action is what gives ideas their wings. It is the physical expression of thought, the only mechanism by which desire becomes result and purpose becomes achievement. The world does not reward thought alone. It rewards those who take thought and put it into motion. Every building you see, every invention you use, every business that thrives, none of them came into existence through dreaming alone. They were born through action. Someone decided to take a risk. Someone decided to rise above fear and move forward. Someone refused to just think about doing something great. They did it. They acted, even when it was hard, even when there was no guarantee of success. And because they acted, the world responded. Fear is often the greatest enemy of action. People wait for the perfect moment, the ideal condition, or the absolute certainty of success. But perfection never comes. Life does not offer perfect conditions. It offers opportunities disguised as problems, and chances wrapped in uncertainty. If you wait for everything to feel right before you begin, you may never begin at all. Action does not require perfection. It requires courage, the courage to begin without knowing how it will end, the courage to fail forward, to learn through doing, and to refine your efforts as you go. It is through action that clarity is gained, not before. Procrastination is the thief of dreams. It disguises itself as planning, as preparation, as thinking it over. But behind every delayed decision is often an unwillingness to act. The most successful individuals are not necessarily the most knowledgeable or the most skilled. They are the ones who act when others hesitate. They understand that action breeds momentum. Once you take a step forward, the next one becomes easier. Energy builds upon energy, but when you remain still, doubt grows, fear multiplies, and time slips away. There is immense power in taking small, consistent steps. Many believe that action must always be grand or dramatic, but real progress is made through disciplined, daily effort. Writing one page a day becomes a book. Making one connection a day builds a network. Saving a small amount regularly builds wealth. These actions may seem insignificant in isolation, but over time they compound into extraordinary results. Action, when repeated with purpose, becomes habit, and habit becomes destiny. Moreover, action has a way of revealing truth. You may think you know what you want, but until you act, you cannot truly understand it. It is in the doing that you discover what works and what doesn't. It is in the process that your mind sharpens, your purpose strengthens, and your direction becomes clearer. Without action, knowledge remains theoretical and passion unproven. Action tests your beliefs. It forces you to commit, to grow, to evolve. There will be obstacles. There will be setbacks. Action does not eliminate resistance. It overcomes it. Every worthwhile pursuit will be met with difficulty. That is the price of progress. But action builds resilience. It teaches you to adapt, to persist, to rise every time you fall. Those who act learn faster, fail faster, and succeed sooner. They treat failure not as defeat, but as feedback. Each attempt brings them closer to mastery, because every act is a lesson in becoming. You must not let the fear of imperfection, judgment, or uncertainty hold you hostage. The world is moved by those who dare to move. Action is the great equalizer. It levels the playing field between the dreamers and the doers. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to feel ready. You only need to start. Start with what you know. Start with what you have. Start now, because the longer you wait, the further your dreams drift from reach. You are not judged by what you think about doing. You are judged by what you actually do, and what you do day by day shapes the life you live. If you want to change your life, change your actions. Let your vision guide you, but let your feet move you, because in the end it is not the dreamer who succeeds. It is the one who dares to act. Start where you are with what you have. Perfection is a myth. One of the most crippling beliefs that holds people back is the idea that they must wait until everything is perfectly aligned before they begin. They tell themselves they need more time, more knowledge, more money, more support, or more confidence. And so they wait. They postpone their dreams, delay their actions, and slowly bury their ambitions under a mountain of excuses. But the truth is, no one ever starts from a perfect place. Every success story begins with a person who decided to act in spite of their limitations, not because they had none. The desire for perfection is rooted in fear. It is a defense mechanism, a comfortable illusion that gives us a reason not to move forward. We fear being judged, we fear failing, we fear not being good enough, and so we convince ourselves that we must prepare endlessly before we begin. But in doing so, we become stuck. We become thinkers, not doers. We become dreamers, not builders. The most powerful move you can make is not to wait, but to start exactly where you are, with whatever resources you have in your hand right now. Consider this. All great journeys begin with a single step, not a giant leap. Those who achieve greatness did not begin with everything in place. They began with whatever they could find, however small, and took one step forward. That first step may have been messy, unpolished, or uncertain, but it was taken. And once momentum begins, it creates its own energy. The act of starting triggers a chain reaction of events, ideas, and opportunities that would never have been revealed to someone standing still. There is a kind of quiet strength in accepting your current reality and still choosing to take action. It means you are not paralyzed by imperfection. It means you have the courage to begin from a place of vulnerability and grow into strength. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master once stood where you stand, unsure, unproven, and under-equipped. What separates them from the rest is that they acted anyway. They didn't wait for all the answers. They began with questions, and they found answers along the way. If you were to study the beginnings of many great enterprises, you'd find humble, imperfect origins. The garage startups, the self-taught musicians, the first-time writers, the small town speakers, they all share one trait. They made use of what they had. They didn't complain about the lack of resources. They became resourceful. They didn't see their conditions as limitations. They saw them as a starting line, and that mindset made all the difference. Progress does not require grandeur. It requires intention. It requires doing what you can today, even if it's not ideal, even if it's not polished, even if it scares you. It's about writing the first paragraph, even if it's rough. It's about making the first call, even if your voice shakes. It's about showing up again and again, despite the voice in your head that says you're not ready, because readiness is not a destination. It is a result of motion. You become ready through action, not before it. It's important to understand that growth happens during the journey, not before it. You learn the skills you need by trying, failing, adjusting, and trying again. You build confidence through repeated action, not through waiting. You gain clarity by moving forward, not by standing still. Every tool, every piece of knowledge, every ounce of strength you think you need, you earn it on the path, not at the start. When you begin where you are, you also embrace authenticity. You stop comparing yourself to others who are further along and instead focus on your own race. You take responsibility for your development and own your journey. There's great power in that. You stop waiting for external validation and instead build internal conviction. That's when things start to shift, not just around you, but within you. You become a person of movement, not hesitation, a person of growth, not excuses. So many people miss their calling not because they lack potential, but because they reject humble beginnings. They look at their current situation and believe it's not enough, but greatness has never been about perfect conditions. It has always been about the relentless spirit that refuses to wait. That spirit lives in those who act now with what they have, trusting that what they need will reveal itself along the way. The speech conveys a powerful and practical message. Waiting for the perfect moment or ideal conditions leads to stagnation, while taking action with what you currently possess opens the path to growth, learning, and success. It challenges the myth of perfection and replaces it with a mindset of resourcefulness, courage, and progress. By emphasizing that great achievements begin from imperfect circumstances, the speech encourages the listener to stop making excuses, overcome fear, and embrace humble beginnings with confidence and persistence. It instills the understanding that action precedes clarity, effort builds confidence, and movement creates opportunity, but only if you start now, where you are, and with what you already have.